All right, guys. So, welcome back. So, in the previous video, we stopped the Paystack to initialize the transaction as an example, and in this video, we'll be creating a new donation, and from that new donation, we'll be initializing the transaction, right? So let's dive right in without wasting much time. So yeah, so remember we're using Nest.js, so I will be setting up the new folder for donations. So that's be Nest generate module donations donation donations. Also be generating a service, generate service donations, and finally a controller. So it is pretty easy to use using Next to CLI because it makes life easy. It is opinionated, so, and it's easy for any other engineer to just pick up and move ahead as long as you know donations. I missed the name of the donation. All right, so great. Now that has been done. Now we'll need to set up our entity donations dot entity dot ts. So basically we are going to be saving this entity into our database. All right, so for our entity now, we okay, at entity type from type rm to be donations. I think donation, yeah, and this guy will pluralize it for us, I guess. Let's confirm. It's been long. Okay, so expense entity, yep, expense singular, then it would pluralize in database. So okay, yep, export class donations and donation entity. All right, see, first things first, we'll be having a primary generated column comes, okay, and we'll be using UUID, which generates a string which is a string, and it's gonna be ID is of type of string. Let's have a created at column. Let's double date. Let's have updated that column. Update. Right, so now let's go into our donations. So now we need a column, yeah. So the column would have a name of full name. This will basically be the user's full name, and nullable will be false because we want it to make it required. So full name is a type of string. We also need a column for email. Nullable is false. Email is a type of string. We need a column for amount. Yep, nullable is false, and the amount is a number. We need a column for not reference. Okay, a reference. Pretty much reference we needed, yes. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, GitHub Copilot. Reference is this type of string. Reoccurring. So at column, let's use reoccurring because we want to know if we should be billing reoccurring. Am I spelling it right? Am I spelling occurring right? I don't know. I just literally need to look it up. Is there a lookup? Yeah, no lookup. Let's go to browser and verify that we are spelling things the right way. Aha. Yep, I'm actually correct. I sabi English. I go to school. Amen. All right. So recurring is going to be a boolean. So default no label is false. Let's have a default guy attached to it. Default will be false. Yeah. What else do I need again? Aha, frequency. So for the recurring. Let's go use frequency. See, no label is false because it's not. Oh yeah, it's not no label is true because it's not required. Frequency is a type of string, but then we want it to be either monthly or yearly. That's it. That's all we need for this guy. Now format you, and yeah, our entity is done. Right. Up next is to have our entity injected into our module. So can I have imports? We're bringing in type ORM module. Dot for feature donations entity. Perfect. Yeah, and also again, we'll be using Paystack. In from our helper, we would also need to act as a provider because eventually. Okay, let's just keep it here so I can show you the error that comes out from it. I would want to drop this database. See, and drop database expenser. Expenser. Okay, can I drop currently open database? Okay, let's connect to Postgres then, so we can now drop database expenser. And now let's create a new database called expenser. So it's gonna be fresh. What else do we need to do again? So now if we attempt to run this project now, we'll see that our start dev. Hopefully there should be no errors. And if we connect to expenser and we define expenser, yep, we now have donation expense. Yep, so our connection, our setup is correct. Okay, now with this being done, let's jump into the service. So basically, like I said before, we want to be able to make a user create a new donation, and we'll need the user's email, user's name, amount, if it's going to be recurring or not. So for that, we'll need to set up a DTO. Yeah, a new folder DTO for what we'll be expecting from our user. So it's going to be donations dto.ts. And so export class new donations DTO. Okay, let's just copy to get these guys here. All right, so reference will be coming from Paystack. so user won't provide any reference. Recurring, yes. Frequency is not going to be. So let's have some validators for this guy. So let's have at a string, because obviously it's a string. Class validator. We also have a string for email. We have at is number for amount. We have at is boolean for recurring, and also at string for frequency. So yes, this will make a frequency required, but we want frequency to be optional. So we add an extra decorator at is optional. So this makes it an optional field. So that's it for our DTO. We have full name, email, amounts, recurring, plus frequency, and these are what we expect from the user. And over to the donation service. Okay, so let's get our service up and running. We need a constructor. Yep, and we'll need to inject our entity. So it's gonna be at injectable. Injectable, is it injectable? As inject repository. As inject repository, and the entity will be our donation entity. Bring that guy in. Right, see, so it's gonna be donation repository, donation repo of type donations entity. Yep, who's next? Okay, so that's a little bit too early because we are not yet using this our bro yet. Why are you shouting? Yeah. Okay, anyways, so first of all we need to do a new donation, and it's going to take in data of new donations DTO. Copilot is giving me joy right now. Okay, so donations DTO, and the flow I want to employ at this point in time is, instead of having to save every single new donation that comes in and payment has not yet been confirmed, it will probably be cumbersome on our database with so many redundant entries. So what I plan on doing is to rather generate a payment URL. Then once the user makes payments, we should be able to verify the payment. Okay, so yeah, let's get up and running. So we also will be bringing in Paystack, because our Paystack needs guy. Yeah. So let's inject this guy to be private. Paystack. Yep, this guy's private also. Paystack, be of type Paystack. Paystack. Am I on the right track? Let's confirm. Yep, I am. All right. So, okay. So let's use Copilot for this. So reference is not coming in from that. So we have amounts, frequency, if it's present. All right. So transaction equals to await this.paystack initialize transaction. Yep, calling the initialize transaction. I think I should have just typed this out. So, well, then speaking of feature first, then we want to also have the user's full name attached to our metadata. So metadata, I explained it prior before, it allows us to attach extra details to our payment initialization, and which you can use later on. And if we want the details to appear on our transaction dashboard on Paystack, we can now add additional details. Let's look at the documentation. They have metadata. Let's see the data page. So the documentation holds what you can add to your metadata. So you could also add the custom fields, which would appear on our transactions in the Paystack. But then, yeah, that's nice to have. Let's move on to what we are doing. Okay, so our transaction has been initialized, yeah, and it's returning transactions, yeah. So we want to, first of all, before returning this transaction, we want to be able to confirm that, oh yes, it was okay. So in case of any issues, they can be caught. Okay, or we could simply just do a try catch. But then, this will not enter an exception if the transaction initialization was false, because Paystack will always return a 201 to us, and we can just anyways, let's just do a check for if transaction.status use. Let's confirm from Paystack what they're sending back to us is a boolean. Yeah, so if transaction.status, okay, if no transaction.status, let us throw an exception. Some response to data. That's my bad. So yeah, transaction status. Let's throw new error transaction.message, just in case anything fails. And then for posterity's sake, just in case anything happens, let's do a try catch. I think that would be the best thing to do. And return transaction data. That's authorization. Sure, let's go URL. That way we are returning to the user an authorization URL. Then for an error, let's throw a new exception. So this makes us handle exceptions accordingly. And that we have a service up and running. Up next is to, okay, we have a problem. So next cannot resolve the donation service, donation entity repository. Please make sure that the argument Paystack at index 1 is available at donations module. All right, so yeah, this is what I was trying to reference to you guys, that we'll need to, because we're making use of Paystack, we'll have to have it injected into our model. So yeah, as a provider, we need to pass in Paystack. Yep, and if we save this error is gone. So our service is up and running. Now let's move on to our controller, which will be the entry point. Okay, so export class donations, and let's have our constructor, most definitely. Let's have our private, Donation service. Donation service of type donation service. Yep, that's it. I have that injected. Let's have a post request. So the post request and the endpoint will be new. So it's going to be, okay, let's have /API /donations/new, and we need to have a pipeline. Yep, use pipes, so that way we are able to validate our input that's coming in through the DTO. And up next, okay, async new donation, and this donation takes in data which is of type I new donation. I've forgotten what I named this entity. Oh, okay. Where's the DTO? New donations DTO. Okay, it's not a type, not an interface. There we go. All right, so we want to so let's have a result saved here, so we can, in order for us to be able to structure what our response will be, const results will be equals to await new donations equals to await this dot donation service new donation passing data, and we can now return. Okay, I want us to return a proper response for data is at body. Yep, need to use the right decorator, and also at response. This is coming from response. Response. Response is coming from Express. What's response from Express? Perfecto. Format documents. So this way we're able to return res dot status. The status is it's a 201 dot send, and we're sending results. Yep, that looks good here. That looks good. So we didn't pass in a redirect URL to our payment initialization. So it's go to the default redirect URL once it's successful of our Paystack account. Okay, so let's test this out. So I have a pre-saved donations collection for Postman. Yep. So I have a full name, email, amount, recurring. And then also just something we missed in our Paystack. Yeah, it's not Paystack. The amount has to be in multiples of hundreds because in Kobos, so that way Paystack only deals on the Kobo level. So it's gonna be amount multiplied by 100. So that way Paystack will process the right amount and not process amount for us. Okay. Okay, let's test this out and see how it goes. This video is getting too long. So if I send this, okay, recurring must be a boolean. So why is recurring not currently entering? What did we do? What did we miss? Oh, recurring. Not you. This is coming from the controller. So okay, yep, we have two arrows. And yes, our point is initialized. So I'm saving this and also saving the response, so that way anyone making use of the documentation can easily jump right into it. So if we copy this now and visit this URL, yep, amount 5,000 naira, email explicit query, and we have been able to successfully initialize the transaction. So the ones up next, let's click on success. And mind you, like I said, it's Paystack redirects to the default callback URL, the global callback URL for this, which is not an available page. It's on safe scroll. But anyways, all I need is the transaction reference to verify the transaction. So let's move on to the next stage to verify a transaction. Then okay, transaction verification. Let's close all these guys except Paystack. Close others. So Paystack has an endpoint for transaction verification, and which we have to set up. So it takes in the reference. Yep. So Copilot has given me a suggestion on what to do. So we get a response initialized. Response is equals to, we're gonna wait. So the endpoint for transaction verification on Paystack is api/paystack.co/transaction/verify, and we're passing in the reference that's coming back. All right, so and it's a get endpoint with axios.get. Axios.get. Let's use this. So we've passed in the API URL of passing transaction/verify, then the reference. Headers is going to be authorization, bearer, and also content type. Okay, JSON. That starts, and we return response to data. Okay, something's missing somewhere. Yeah, it does. What's the missing guy? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it. We're in a class. So that's basically how the verify endpoint, or the verifier endpoint is. Now that we have that method up and running, we'll go back to our donation service and verify transaction. So I've made for the verify transaction. So I think verify donation. Nice naming. Takes in a reference. Okay. So should we use autopilot, copilot? Yep, to save time. Okay, so this is the point where transaction equals to within. Yep, and Paystack will give us a transaction. So let's log transaction and see what we have there. CLO transaction, and I will show you what they call it, how the metadata in action and what we can do with it. So okay, yep, if checking if transaction status is false during that, then amount customer and metadata is coming from transaction.data. Great. Email is coming from customer. No, we're getting customer from here. What we'll be getting is the amount reference metadata. Okay, let's call it reference. You should be, let's call it TRX reference, so we would have any conflicts. Then we have in our metadata, we have full name, we have what else again, recurring and frequency. This is something that I missed. For recurring frequency full name. Recurring frequency full name. These are what we're expecting back from okay. Email, no, the email. Let's see the response. Do we need the email? So we have status, we have reference, we have amount, message, metadata. I go to customer. Okay, just an email. So let's get customer. Take email out of customer. So can clear you since we already got customer there. Can clear you, we've already destructured recurring. So new donation, what's missing here? Donation repo dot okay, let's see, donation equals to new list of donation repository. Has no constructor entity. Let's see our previous guidance. We have a constructor. No, they had them when we initializing you. Okay. All right. That's great. Oh. Interesting. Something's wrong somewhere. Check repository. Aha. Private dismiss repository. Step of repository. Yep. Now we have access to the dot create. Okay. So our donation entity has full name, email, amount, reference, recurring, and frequency. So it's passing full name, email, amount, reference, and frequency. Okay. Let's leave that log there just in case. We'll save. Okay, yeah, wait, this is the save. All right. And this is basically it. So let's take it for a spin. Oh yes, we need to make the controller for it. Right, to be a at post verify. We don't need any validations because we won't need any validations. So I'm saying verify donation. Are we getting it from body? Let's get you from query. Let's get you from query, and the query will be TROXREF. Great. Right, this dots save the verified transaction. Yep, return response. 201, let's use 200. Let's send. But then what if transaction fails? What do we do? Like, the transaction was probably not verified, or it was an invalid transaction. What do we do? Okay. So let's see what the response is from Paystack. 200, okay. Let's see, 200 failed. So status will always be true, right? But the difference is going to be in this data.status, which is failed, which will be failed. For successful, it's going to be success. So that's what we need to check for to make us an edge case. If no transaction, the status, right? And also if transaction the status does not equals to success. True. And show new error, transaction gets a response. Perfect. Yippee! Now let's take it for a spin. So the endpoint is going to be API/donation/verify. Passing transaction reference as query. So let's make a new request. Right, transaction, it's a post. Of course, we're using the host /donation/ verify. For params, we'll be passing in trx ref, and the value is coming from what we got back from Paystack. All right, fingers crossed, and let's send this request. Okay, we have an internal server error. Something is wrong somewhere. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we were logging the response that came back. Was log transaction? Okay. And there was data. Yes, the amount was there. Okay, I think I should do something. Yep, the amount would be amount divided by 100, because we need to convert it from the units down to. Okay. Oh. And we have metadata recurring is false. Okay, so right now recurring for us, recurring is not a string, it's a boolean, and so we need to cast this guy. How do they cast to boolean in JavaScript? Okay, don't we have like a straightforward response? Okay, so login. I don't know why this is not loading fine. Great. So method 1, if string value is true. So there's no proper casting. Okay, so let's do some. So if reoccurring is equals to true, else false. Okay, let's see what other error was the issue again. So here we have the recurring, we have the email. Oh, in the metadata we sent down, we only sent in email, we didn't send in full name. We didn't send in full name. We did not send in full name. How come? Okay, we would have to do that again. Then let's see the error we have. Null value in column full name of relation donation. Okay, all right, let's save this and generate a new transaction. Donation. Let's make payments. Success. And we take our reference from this and verify transaction reference is this. If we send, oh yes, all right, now we are able to. Great. So full name, email, amount 5,000, reference created that and updated that. So yeah, we've been able to verify a transaction and also save the transaction to the database. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. We can now clear out all the logs we had. Got all the logs we had. Save this, format it, and okay, so we've successfully been able to initiate a transaction and also verify a transaction and save transaction in the database. In the next videos, we should be able to work on recurring transactions and set up how we can charge those transactions. Okay, see you in the next video.